Markets reacting to the PPI producer price index in a fairly good way. Nothing spectacular compared to yesterday's freak out about the consumer price index. The Dow is up by about 54, the S&P up about 3, and the Nasdaq up about 40 points. Let's look at the 10-year yield because, of course, that yesterday popped big way to the upside. Today, it's going down a little bit of a correction there. It's down 6.7 basis points. That would normally be a big drop, but not when you take into account how much it went up yesterday. It's now, the yield is 4.55. And crude oil is down a little bit. Looks like it might be going to below $70 a barrel. It's now $70.70 a barrel. And joining me now is a man who's very concentrated on oil, its prices, and the amount of it that we're able to get out of the ground. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. Last week, you signed your first order to, quote, unleash American energy. What are the specifics on that order?
Well, David, step one for us following President Trump's energy dominance agenda is to turn around the disastrous policies of the Biden administration in the last 4 years. The Biden administration's had a whole of government full frontal attack on anything related to almost all forms of American energy. I mean, take example, Alaska, an amazing resource. The Biden administration had 68 executive orders exclusively attacking Alaska's ability to produce energy. It's easy to say that the Biden administration actually sanctioned Alaska more than they sanctioned Iran. And of course, when they were worried about elections, they didn't enforce the sanctions on Iran. Iran had their production up. Places like North Dakota, our production was down. They allowed Venezuela to sell back into the United States, took the sanctions off them. They drained the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. They were managing supply by letting more foreign oil onto the market. With President Trump, we're going to reverse that. President Trump, we're going to put sanctions back on Iran. He's going to have them back financially on their knees like before. He's going to end wars, win a Nobel Peace Prize, but we've got to get U.S. production up. And part of that is we've got to cut the red tape that the Biden administration strapped the American energy industry with.
Now, Mr. Secretary, they were also big, the Biden administration, on cutting offshore drilling. And we have seen reports, even a company like McKinsey & Company did a report on Gulf oil suggesting that responsibly done, and the emphasis on the word responsibly, so there wouldn't be any oil spills. Of course, accidents will happen, but very responsible drilling in the Gulf of Mexico could be increased an extra 2 million barrels a day. Are you going to be working on that?
Well, absolutely, and it's just unbelievable. In the last weeks of the Biden administration, he signed an executive order, Biden did, which took 625 million acres of offshore potential off of the market through an executive order. President Trump has unbanned that ban. We're going to go back, but you know that was Biden wiping out trillions of dollars of revenue from the next generations of American. Unbelievable what he was doing to restrict access to a balance sheet. The balance sheet belongs to the American public.
And by the way, I've got to apologize. I said Gulf of Mexico, didn't I? Whoops.
No,
Gulf of America.
It's Gulf of America
Gulf of
now.
America. But can we get that extra 2 million barrels a day from the Gulf that McKinsey said we could?
Well, we can, and we can get more from Alaska, more from North Dakota. We can get more from Pennsylvania. Not only was he restricting the drilling, he was also restricting pipelines. We need more transportation for our LNG in America to the parts of America, including the Northeast, which are still burning dirty heating oil when they could be burning clean Pennsylvania natural gas. And then exports. I mean, he canceled the exports. We've unbanned that, and we're going to be moving LNG. When we had the Prime Minister of Japan here last week meeting with President Trump, they want to buy more LNG. We can sell energy to our friends and allies, have them buying it from energies, and that's going to help the economics of us production here in the U.S.
And get them off of the Russian habit, which does nobody any good. Next one, this is also under your purview, Mr. Secretary. The president of Arizona's State Senate sent you a letter asking you to reverse what is called a land grab by the feds during the Biden era of nearly 1 million acres in Arizona, which prevents them from exploring to drill for critical minerals, nuclear energy resources, et cetera. Are you going to open that area for exploration?
Well, we've got executive orders and secretarial orders to review all of these land grabs that were done by the Biden administration. And we've got to go back and take a look at those decisions that were made. And we've got to make sure we're consulting with the locals in these situations, because if you take that public land off the balance sheet, so to speak, you're depriving revenues for the state, for the tribes, for the local communities, and you're not helping the environment, because then we're pushing production overseas to countries that don't have an EPA,
like
don't
China.
do reclamation, use child labor. If somebody is concerned about the environment, they should want every electron, every ounce produced in the United States. We do it cleaner, safer, smarter, more efficiently, with more respect for the environment than anywhere in the world.
Mr. Secretary, my producers are going to kill me, but one more quick question. Got to be a quick answer. The president said on the campaign trail he would cut the price of gas at the pump, or cut the price of oil in half. That would bring it to around $40 a barrel. Would companies still be producing at that price?
Well, we can help get the price down. We think we can cut $6 or $8 off the price just through deregulation.
Yeah.
So we can lower the price, and the companies will still be making as much money. And then we've got to open up new markets around the world. Like I said, we're going to be selling energy around the world as opposed to our adversaries. So we've got some work to do to get there. But certainly the goal here is to make sure that if we lower the price of energy, we lower the price of everything.
Secretary Burgum, a pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you very much. Best of luck.